Well, hello, my fellow Americans and fellow Christians. Thank you for joining me for one more day of peace and freedom here in the United States of America. My fellow Americans, I have written and spoken elsewhere. If we do not solve the menace of violence in our nation, the possibility of the government intervening will be inevitable. A possible police state to curb crime and terrorism. It will be the only alternative for national security and safety. But there is another view we must take, and I offer it here. For years, I have always thought Christianity is too simplistic. Its totalitarian ideal leaves questioning out of the picture. Protests can be snubbed and programs blocked. Such imbecilic ideas exist, and Christian men make sure they are followed. Prophecy teachers thought they had the expected package. They spoke with surety, but presumption and assumption was their thesis. Today, they all are out to sea as a ship of fools who misled a nation. For not one prophecy teacher has predicted any national or world event that has come to pass in our day and age and time, making themselves inventors and illusionists, self-appointed prophets with no proof of their words. These cavalier men are now pursuing the mixture of church and state, once again seeking a totalitarian state, a utopian Christianity society, using the laws of the nation to continue and control an imperfect country. The misguidance of such an ideal is the thought Christian utopia can exist in an imperfect world. This is the opposite of what Christ taught. Christ taught not a utopian world, but against it. For he used words such as, "I have come not to bring peace, but a sword." He also said, "Your enemies will be they of your own household." He mentioned the end times will be as the days of Noah, where there would be rebellion against God and violence. He also mentioned Christianity would be hated in the world. And again he said, "If the world hates me, then the world will hate you." Need I go on? For it is not written anywhere that Christianity will bring a utopian society. If any fact draws attention, it is just the opposite of what evangelicals have been preaching. The grand philosophy of President Trump is to bring America back to independence and economic power. Hopefully it will be achieved, but frankly, I do not think it will. There is no great intellect roaming the countryside to help achieve the desired return to America's one-time glory it once possessed. The totalitarianism I am talking about in Christianity is not only political, it is also a state of mind. All the evangelicals' hopes rest upon Trump and their influence over him. But they also possess a state of mind completely damaging to a free society. It is a form of Puritanism, which seeks control because the society they live in, they believe, is not the one they deserve. And what they do believe is they deserve power, prestige, and income. This is based upon their faith in prosperity. And if they do not have these ideals, then they must find a way to achieve their doctrine. This philosophy has been pushed upon America for the last 40 years in evangelical circles. It is Trump that they are beginning to think is the crowning jewel of their influence, that they can bring forth a utopian Christian society. So the ideal is to enter the political realm and subjugate to the degree of influence with members of Congress and to the current administration. This poses a great danger not only to the Christian faith, but to society as a whole. Introducing politics into the Christian faith, this is the future philosophy of the Antichrist, a tyrannical, religious, dictatorial government in control of society, We even read about these kind of things in George Orwell's 1984. This brings a grave danger to the freedom of choice in our country. Christ did not teach a controlled state, but one of free moral choice. America generally has followed this ideal, yet it is the religious man, the Christian, who wants to change it. It is written somewhere, the devil will not come to us dressed in red with a pitchfork. He will come as a negotiator of peace. This is the deep-seated idea of evangelicals. They see a nation out of control, and the only way for them to control it and bring forth the Christian ideal is through the power of law. These men of the Holy Writ are riveted by society. This makes Christianity artificial. Christ and his doctrine is not seized upon, but the unhealthy interest of meddling in civil law, withholding what Christ desires from men in exchange for one's invented ideas of worldly involvement. This, in my estimation, has killed the power of moral and spiritual laws in America. The good effects and intellectual exercises of character are no longer present in the church. And ironically, the men of God are outside the church when they should be inside. It is also so superficial because Christians today are superficial. And Christ is their hero, but his doctrine is not their theology. Christians today cross their legs and listen to the boastings of men and women who have the world view in mind instead of genuine religious sense and power. Underlying all this fanciful propaganda is the all-important quest of convincing America of their doctrine and influencing the politicians to help them achieve it. O troubled land, when men of God are no longer interested in divine transformation of mankind, you can of a surety find the assumption tragedy will soon find its way to repay. So, my good people, when the higher and loftier ideals of Christ are returned to the church and instilled in the heart and character of men and women, then our nation shall once again find its way in its previous glory. America shall remain a troubled nation and perhaps escalate the coming of Antichrist if it continues on the current course of religion and politics. The psychological outcome can eventually be a police state, due to the fact men and women no longer have Christian ideals of the heart, but the ideals and laws of society, with the blessings of the religious men outside the doctrine of Christ, replacing a worldly view as the true doctrine of God, producing a totalitarian state, a tyrannical religious dictatorial government, claiming the blessings of God. May you take to heart what I have said today, and may the good Lord bless you. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.